Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on my channel. We're going to dive right in. I did a squad with Mr.Higgles, so this is battle number 1. And I spawn in with my Kumiho, which is a level 10 with level 11 Orkans. I did a little editing in my video to display that. So I dash over to the right to get a beacon as quick as I can, because beacons are the key to winning. So I kind of see who's in the distance. And I saw Kumiho with shock train, so he manages to hit me, and I see another Hache, so I get this beacon. And then what I do is I dash to the left, trying to make an attempt towards center. But then I see there's a Hache with Terrans on the other side, so that kind of limits me from going into center without getting completely destroyed. So I'm kind of trying to keep him back by knocking down his answer shield. And this scout Aphids knocks down the shield a bit, and I helped with taking out this Ancelot, so he isn't able to successfully get the beacon as we're able to keep him back. We're kind of crowded around center. Here I just make the crazy push towards center, but that didn't end up working, so I wasn't able to get the beacon. And I spawn in towards our home beacon, and I spawn in with my level 10 Griffin with level 11 Terrans and Magnums. And as you can see there, I made a very epically failed jump, so that kind of didn't work out because there's not really enough space in that gap, like with the bridge, to kind of jump out of it. I'm sure it's possible, but I messed it up, so haha, epic fail. But anyway, getting back into the game, I'm just kind of seeing the ranges of the people in the battlefield, and by ranges I mean how far they are in comparison to me, so I could see who to target first. And I noticed that there are a few players on the right that are making their way towards our right beacon, and that's where Mr.Higgles is defending with his Lancelot with Zeus and Scourge. So I try to see if I can help out here because we have so many reds near us, and we just gotta start taking them out slowly. And I'm just firing a few warning shots to kind of, scare him off, and then there's a Kumiho again, and then that Bulgasari is trying to come after me too and wear me down with the Scourge. So I make a jump at this Lancelot. This is kind of where I make the mistake because the shield wasn't broken, so I get taken out. And I spawn in at C this time with my Death Button Griffin. And I just kind of start firing, and then I see this Hache behind me who's really busted up, so I take him out. And I try to provide some support towards the left beacon. And then I see a Bulgasari at center. I take him out, and conveniently, that's good for us because he was making his way towards center beacon, and we were able to stop him from doing that. And while we might have 3 beacons, we do need to stress on getting that center beacon, as it's a critical vantage point, and it's really important to capture. Here I make my failed jump number 2, and I was trying to jump over and get into cover, but that didn't end up working. Luckily, I wasn't hit by that Hache, but I do get hit with shock train, so instead I get this other Griffin that happens to be at center, and I nail him with Orkans, and boom! I do quite a bit of damage to him, but I do get him taken out here eventually. This Hache just comes around, dashes by, and takes me out, and then I see a threat at Beacon A. I see 2 people making their way, so I spawn in with my Hache Terrans, or the bot melter as I like to call it, because it's 3 medium weapon slots, and those 3 medium are Terrans, and that's definitely effective at melting down bots without any physical shields, as those bots are not able to block it. So this Griffin comes by, take him out. I stay in cover, regenerate my shield a bit, load up, and I see his Carnage with Tempest, so I try to aim at him. Some of my shots missed, but I was able to hit him critically. And speaking of the Carnage, this is to talk about for later, but I feel like the Carnage definitely needs a HP buff. It gets taken out way too easily, and for a medium robot, it definitely needs more HP, and I'm sure Pixonic is looking into this as we speak, and hopefully we'll get a update with buffs and nerfs to certain weapons and robots, and the Carnage is just added to that list. So I see his Death Button. I was going to save that Fury because he does get hit pretty bad by the Griffin, but there I didn't kind of use my teamwork skills properly, and I just kind of dash towards center and try to get this beacon. I see this Hache with Columbus try to come near me. Columbus can be deadly, but there's only so many rockets that fire that you could run out of ammo very quickly. So he does get into my shield, and he does critically hurt me, but I'm able to get the beacon. and one of my teammates spawn in, and I'm just going after them because they're starting to make a comeback towards center. I'm down to my last spot, so I spawn in at center and take out this Bulbasaur. I also noticed that there are a few other dash to my left, so I get into cover here because I know there's a Fury with Tempest far off in the distance, and he could just knock down my shield easily and make me vulnerable to threats like Splash. So I take this person out right here. I at least try to by corner shooting, and I was able to do so successfully, and then I just kind of roam around this area trying to stay out of range of the bullets and Splash to regenerate my shield. I make another dash to see if I can knock down this player's shield so someone else can take him out. I see this Ancelot, so he also has an Anto shield, which is helpful towards me actually staying protected. So I'm just kind of looking around to see where to plan my next move here. And this is where I just go after this bot right here, and I take him out because he was low on HP. And that Bulbasaur shock trains also ended up hitting me, but I was able to dash forward and get a few good hits on him. But I just stay back in cover because I know he has the range advantage of me, and he can definitely do a lot of damage. I try to kind of corner shoot here, but that fails, so I'm basically kind of worried right now at this point because we may lose center beacon. We are starting to mech out, so I just stay calm, stay focused, and just do the best I can at this point because it's essentially 2 versus 5, and we just have to kind of hold down a beacon as long as we can, or for however much we can and how much damage we can do. And the only 2 players that are left are me and my friend Mr.Higgles. He's in his Ancelot, and we're like the last 2 standing. So I just kind of support him as much as I can. I miss my rockets at this Hache, and then I fire back at him, take him out. At this point, I'm just in cover, and I see someone heading towards our right beacon. It is 2v5, so it's going to be hard to keep up with all the players. This player is moving to our right beacon. I'm worried as to what he's in because he could be in a Hache or an Ancelot. So tried firing some test rockets, but I fired way off, so I wasn't able to hit his shield. So instead, I kind of just dash towards him and just try to get into cover. And I just regenerate my shield and just wait for someone to come nearby and do significant damage. And at this point, it's just me. I'm the only player left in the game at this time, and if I had another bot, if I played more conservatively with the beacon bar we have, we could have survived, but I end up getting taken out by this player with the Hache Terran, so that's kind of unfortunate. But on the bright side, we were able to apply teamwork skills. I was able to stay within Mr.Higgles' shield, and we had each other's shields overlapping each other. So yeah, that's that. Battle number 1. Alrighty, battle number 2, we're going to be running the same exact hangar as before. So as usual, I spawn in my Kumiho first. It is my speedy bot, and I use it to cap beacons. Very useful, because beacons can turn the tide of a game. Every second counts, so I'm just, I'm just going for those beacons, and I head over to the right. I cap this beacon. We've landed in on Canyon map, so I see in the distance there's a player with shock train, so with the Kumiho and the fact that I don't have all max level equipment, regardless of max level, Kumiho is fragile in terms of HP. And it's not as fragile as the Carnage, but it doesn't, it's not super strong either. It can be, but in terms of HP, it's closer to the moderate range. So that's why I'm kind of just careful, and I'm just stuck in between this post, I guess you could call it, because people are hitting me from both ends and I get taken out. I'm worried about this beacon being taken, so I spawn, but at this point, this is where I go rage mode. I just take out a bunch of players. I take out 1, 2, 3. It was like a triple kill frenzy. I was just going in. I spawned in with my Plasma Griffin. I was even hoping to get a 4th here, but my Terrans weren't loaded up. If I was to get that Fury Zeus too, I would have knocked out all their range. So then I'm out in a blaze, and I get my Deathbone Griffin and take this guy out here. That was just a crazy killing frenzy. That was definitely an iconic moment in that matchup. And I see this Inquisitor. I lay a few rockets at him, but then I see this Hache, and I know at this point I'm probably gonna get taken out, but at least I was able to get some good damage in on that Inquisitor. And we're really holding down beacons. We have 4 beacons, so I spawn in at D. I realize that I got hit pretty bad by Zeus, so I get a few shots in on that Fury and then get into cover quickly. Because, you know, I don't have a physical shield. The Hatchet does not have a physical shield. So you want to be careful with the energy weapons. And that's where I see that, this is where I make my way towards the Fury, get some damage in, and then I turn to my left and see the Hatchet shock train, and he manages to take me out. He gets a good hit on me. And this is pretty much the end of the battle. I'm in my last spot. This is where things get a bit crazy. There's a Galahad up here, a Plasma Galahad and a Kumiho with Orkans. So this Kumiho is planning on what to do. I take out his partner, and then he probably has thoughts of dashing into my shield, which is smart, but you have to understand I'm aware of where he is. So instead he targets the Natasha. One mistake I made here is I could have dashed earlier to at least shield my teammate from a lot of damage. I think he took quite a bit incoming from the Kumiho, so that was kind of my mistake. But this is when he tries to dash into my shield, and I just dash in the opposite direction. He made an attempt. He was going after the Natasha, but he still ended up getting just inside my shield. But then I dashed the other direction to get out, and I just take him out with Orkans. And then I see a Ancelot heading towards center. He's a center beacon threat, so I knock down his shield, hoping that one of our teammates has splash on the other side and is able to take him out. But that was not the case. However, I stay near the center beacon so he can't change it, and someone else could come by. And he was starting to get worn out, so I just come in and take him out, just like that. And there's Mr.Higgles with his Hatchet, so we're just like Hatchet bros right now. And yeah, that's the end of battle number 2. Alrighty, battle number 3. Of course, we're running my same old fun hangar, and we're right on, you know, point here. We're in my Kumiho with Orkans, and I'm going for beacons. And where we've landed in, the setup for beacons is convenient because these 2 beacons right here, the one I capture right now and the one to my left, are really close to each other. So I'm able to go in a general direction in almost a straight sort of line to just cap beacons quickly. And then I make my way towards center here. So I'm able to get that, and I'm aware that this map has a few dash tricks where if you dash off certain ledges, you could go like speeding in the air and you could like travel far distances. I don't do that in this case because I'm more focused on beacons. I know it's good to have fun, but I've done that trick quite a few times before, and it's definitely fun to do. But regardless, I'm just trying to get in the center, but their Kumiho players get in the center before I do. However, I had the benefit of at least getting 2 beacons and putting a bit of pressure on them. So I'm just going right after this Kumiho. I'm going for center because we need that beacon. I was able to get this Kumiho, and then I see the Inquisitor. He misses the jump, and then I was about to fall off the ledge, but then I'm so close to getting the beacon, which is why I stay in center. And I just avoid the Death Bun, the Fury Zeus. It was just nuts. I was like on the edge of everything. So I managed to avoid that just by a bit. If I had fallen off that ledge, we would have missed a key play here at capturing center beacon. My teammates were just moving in behind to support me. This is where I see the Fury with Tempest actually trying to slowly make his way towards the side here and maybe getting towards center, and he definitely has their range, so that's going to be a major problem. And I see Mr.Higgles with me in center too, and he has his Hatchet out, so he goes after that Inquisitor. I believe that was that was an Inquisitor because he was in stealth mode, and then I focus down on this Ancelot on my right side. And the downside here is while we do have center beacon, it's hard to make a push for the other beacons because they have 2 long-range support, and they also have quite a few brawlers that are just kind of locking down on their beacon. So it's going to be hard to push for another beacon. So that's why we kind of stand our ground in center and try to keep our distance from their range, because they have a Fury with Tempest and a Butch with Trebs. That's enough to, you know, mess up your day if you're not careful. So I'm definitely taking that into seriousness. And then I see a Fury with Tridents. One thing I haven't seen in a while, and I think this is because there's starting to be a shift towards the Bulgasari, and by that I mean I'm starting to see more Bulgasaris on the battlefield. Nonetheless, there's still more Hatches, but the Fury Tridents would be counter to a Bulgasari because it does not have an energy shield. So I'm starting to see the Fury Tridents slowly making a return to the meta, not quite, but they're starting to kind of come into the meta, excuse me. So at this point, I'm at center beacon. I was just kind of hanging off the ledge there, all like, hey, I'm chilling. So I'm just kind of taking my time. I know Mr.Higgles is getting beat up right now. If I had spawned in my dash, I could think that would have been better strategically because my energy shield could have protected him for a bit. Because he had his range, so he could have survived longer with the Zeus Forge, which is actually not a bad build on the Lancelot. I've seen other people use it. I don't own that build or the weapons except the Zeus. But I've heard that with the match ranges and the fact that you have a physical shield, it's actually a decent build. Here I actually make a jump towards this Bulgasari, but I mess it up because I do a sideways jump instead of more of a forward jump. So I kind of just lost my bot there. And I spawned back towards home with my hatchet. I don't quite know why I did this, but I guess it's to avoid all the hectiveness and center beacon. Hectiveness, that's not a word. But that's probably why I spawned here. And this is what I mean. You can see my dash pod kind of just zooming through the air. I kind of messed up the trick there. You have to do it a bit earlier, but I was able to, you know, dash and kind of cover distance. I've seen people dash all the way to the platform. I've done it before, but you have to time it right. It's an interesting trick. I'm sure it's probably a bug that Pixonic will patch, or if they don't want to patch it, they'll just leave it for fun. I don't know, but you know, I'm sure Pixonic is aware of that. But anyway, I'm in my hatchet and I see this player on the right side in this Lancelot, so I dash towards him and I try to get a bit of damage in on him so I could take him down. And then I unload my Tyrans and I'm just reloading and staying in cover. And then I get hit with Zeus from the side, so I'm at the edge of cover right now. Someone's hitting to my left and my right. So I take out this Lancelot and then I focus down on this Death Bun Griffin. They're starting to spawn in at that beacon where the Heat Chester player is, so I think they're starting to get some backup there because they realize that a Hatch is threatening the beacon and that player is me. So I'm kind of just cautiously scanning the battlefield. I move in close with one dash knowing that I'll have a second already ready to dash out of harm's way. So I take out that Griffin and now I'm focusing down on this Lancelot shield. So he's just kind of moving to the left because he knows that I'm a big threat and he probably doesn't want to deal with me right now. So I'm just kind of shooting at whoever I can. I see another Ansel with Orkans, which is not to his favor because I'm able to stay out of his distance and I'm able to break through his shield. If he had Tyrans, that definitely would have been in his favor because he would have been able to take me out. And I believe he's in rush, so I definitely work on his shield pretty well. I'm able to break it and then he falls off the side here. He got stuck for a second, or he or she, this player. He was just stuck and then he falls down. He's just like, I'm out of here. So there's that. We get him taken out and we're kind of closing in towards the end of the battle. We have 3 beacons. Our beacon bar is high and, you know, we have much more of a bar than the opposing team does. So at this point, I'm feeling confident that we have this game in the bag. Nonetheless, I'm always cautious as to who's around me. Like, I pay attention to my surroundings. You don't want to get too overconfident. So pretty much, I'm able to take this player out here at this beacon, and then I focus down on this Lancelot. And I was thinking that that was the last player, but it wasn't. There were still 2 more players spawning in. So that Galahad has a physical shield, but he gets taken out, and then I work on this Plasma Griffin. And that's almost it. He still has 1 more bot and he's in his Death Bun Griffin. I get damaged pretty badly here, but get out my last bot and He still has one more bot. I think he was the player in the butch. But that's pretty much game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this squad with Mr. Higgles. Don't forget to leave a like if you already haven't and subscribe. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.